did is they, I was looking for this courthouse. I got a seatbelt ticket, right? And you know, what I did is I sent them a letter and I said, I want to see the contract. And of course they said when I got there, oh, we didn't get the letter. And I said, that's okay, I got a copy, and I give it to them, right? And what they did is they waited till the very end for me, of course, like they do, because they don't want all the sheeple hearing all this stuff, right? So anyways, what happened is they dismissed it at the end, right? But so anyways, what happened is I was looking for this courthouse, and across the street was this courtroom. It had flags in it. It was de jure flags, no gold fringe or nothing like that. And it was sitting there empty. And it was across the street from that, in this office building, was the de facto court. In Canada, they put a coat of arms. They don't put a gold fringe flag or anything like that. Coat of arms, which is still a military symbol, and they make war in you there. They didn't want to do it in the de jure courtroom. And so but the point is, though, is the de jure courtroom is waiting there for somebody to operate it. See what I'm saying? And here, you know, they talk about these, in Texas statutes, it talks about common law courts of record and stuff like that, you know. And I'll bet you that I'll bet you that if you did some research, you know, there's a guy in Edmonton that did this. He wanted to grow marijuana plants, and they wanted to grow them in this head shop across the street from the courthouse in downtown Edmonton. And what they did is they started putting out flyers, and the flyers started saying how they don't have authority, okay, to regulate his right to grow marijuana plants, okay? And they put these flyers out all over downtown Edmonton for about 6 months. And then they decided, okay, well, we're going to start growing our marijuana plants. And they started growing them. And they were getting real big and bushy in this window across the street from the courthouse. And one day the cops showed up, right? And the cops said, we're not going to do anything about your marijuana plants, but we'd like you to move them to a different window because the judges across the street don't like looking at them in the window. And and this is a true story. And what the guy running the head shop, he thought about it for a little while. He says, nah, he says, the plants like the light, I'm going to leave them there. And the cop said, that's okay, we just had to ask. See ya. That was it. So the point is if you point out how they don't have any authority, okay, again, you take away their right to presume, okay, and you have them where it hurts, okay, for perjury of oath, for all sorts of indictable offenses that are going to get their butt put in jail for who knows how long, okay. If you do it properly, then you can do anything you want.
They never answered the flag. They never challenged the flag.
Well, they couldn't. If you lay your foundation properly, there's no answer. You see what I'm saying? So the point is, I'll bet you that there's de jure courtrooms here in Texas that are waiting for us, the Republic of Texas, to use. And all you need to do is maybe start looking around. You probably can find them around. Like in Edmonton, they say there's a common law courtroom in the basement of the courthouse in downtown Edmonton. And so, you know, I saw this one in Pickering myself, okay? I'll bet you the Republic of Texas, the Constitution says that the common law courts are here, okay? So we need to find out where they're at and then tell them, hey, you know, maybe administrate the district attorney or something like that, and tell them, hey, you know, we're convening common law court, and we want you to provide a place for us to have our meetings.
They claim each county has one.
Well, okay, so we got to find out where they're at. They're here. I can just about guarantee you. Why should we go and be holding our courts in Denny's or someplace like that when we can be having a real court provided? You see what I'm saying? And I'll bet you they'll even give you guidelines on how to do it. Not that you have to follow any of it, but it's certainly some recommended guidelines that would be good ideas on what to do and how to do it, you know?
No Ray courthouse down there.
The thing is, anyways, the point is I'll bet you the common law courts are here. They'll give us a place to hold the meetings, the grand juries and the common law courts. And it's just a matter of asking the question. Common law jury. With a common law jury, there's no judge, okay, in a common law courtroom, okay? The common law jury calls the witnesses, questions the witnesses, determines the law and the facts in the matter, and even pronounces sentence. And the common law jury is not subject to appeal. Once it's done, it is done. There's a decision from a common law jury is not appeal. The fact that you can make an appeal in the de facto courts is proof they're de facto. The decisions of a common law jury must be unanimous. A common law jury consists of 12 members. Many times, some members of a common law jury didn't understand certain points of law, so they would ask someone who had been on a lot of juries, a jurist, to sit in on a trial to advise the jury on different points of law. A common law jury can do anything they want. Now, does anybody know what a judge is called nowadays? Yeah, lots of names, I'm sure. A judge is called a jurist. Okay? And so what I'm saying is that gradually what happened is the judge, this guy that was sitting in there to advise the juries, gradually took over the courtroom. You see what I'm saying? And to the point now that the jury gets jury instructions and all sorts of stuff. Common law convictions in Texas, and I think, do you remember that case? I think you were talking about it one time. But there was supposed to be a case here in the 90s where somebody was damaged by one of the cities here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and they took it to a grand jury and got an indictment, and then they took it to a common law jury and convicted them, and the city or whoever it was basically blew it off, ignored it, thought it was a big joke, and they got a conviction, and then they sent the conviction to Standard & Poor's and Dun & Bradstreet, and they couldn't get financing for their freeways, they couldn't get insurance, they couldn't get nothing from Wall Street. And what happened then is they brought a case into their de facto courts asking for this conviction to be overturned, and huh?
I guess they couldn't do it.
Well, yeah. Huh? Was it in Richardson? Okay. And so what happened is the judge says, I can't do that. If I did that, I'd lose my bond. Yeah. That's the power, okay? That puts the power back in the hands of the people. You have no idea the power. And then this is Robin Boulanger is the guy that I was telling you about that was some of his friends that went and did the thing with the marijuana plants. In order to have a common law jury, in order to have a grand jury, you have to have a common law jury, you need a common law judiciary, okay? And this is where the Republic of Texas will come in, because Robert Savarese is the chief judge for Nacogdoches County, and Norman Sewell is the chief judge for Robertson County. And so what the judge has to do is he needs to swear in the jurors and the grand jurors, and then you proceed. Since you're having an election, well, around here there's already, you know, some people, some of the offices are filled, but the Republic of Texas needs people to fill offices, and we all need to participate, and that way we can operate our government, and that's when we start having the power. Okay, we need to operate our de jure government, and if we're not doing it, then, you know, not only are we depriving ourselves of justice, we're depriving a lot of other people of justice. And, you know, I don't know, my thought is that when I'm there at judgment bar before God, and I'm saying this guy violated my rights, and then he's saying, well, you know, I thought you were a corporation, and it's because of stuff I did, what am I going to say? And then when God starts asking me, you know, what did I do to provide justice for these widows and orphans and all these people that are certainly entitled to justice, and they weren't getting it in these de facto courts, what am I going to say? If I haven't done everything I could do, then I'm going to be accountable. So, you know, we all need to do our part to help, you know, our government and to bring back our de jure government and get rid of this de facto, you know, gang of criminals, really. And all it takes is for enough people to stand up and say enough, and their game is up. A typical tactic of the enemy is to divide and conquer. And this has happened, you know. I mean, there's certainly, I know for a fact that in the Republic of Texas, there's been agents provocateurs in there to stir things up and to cause problems. And we need to look beyond all of that and keep the proper goal, which is freedom for everyone, and just keep moving ahead. And just like water off a duck's back. You just need to. Bob Wilson with the Republic of Texas. He's going to talk to you.